Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hygge with It. Today we are doing my January TBR, so let's get into it. So the cup is back for 2020. I'm really loving using this to decide my TBR. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, I have a bunch of prompts that I have in here. There are 12 that go in and like a whole huge stack that I add to. So I choose 4 prompts and choose some books that could be used for those prompts, and that's how I select my TBR. So just a little review of the prompts that we've got for January. We've got try a chapter thriller bonus video. So this is where I do a whole other bonus video where I do a try a chapter tag kind of vibe. Poll where I ask you guys what I should read. Newest buy, arc, backlist, new author, spooky, husband pick, treat yourself, which means I get to go shopping, series, gifted, and April pick. So the plan is I am going to shuffle these and pick my first prompt, and then I'll select some books. Let's see what happens. Okay, they're in here. I'm not looking. I have chosen series. So now I have to go to my shelves and look for some series that I either have started and want to finish, or a series that I want to start, and they'll potentially, well, they'll go on my TBR and I can choose from them. So let's try it out. Okay, so I have 4 books that are either the first in a series or the second in a series. I think there's only one that's the second in a series. So the first is The Dry by Jane Harper. I just saw that this landed on Krista from Books and Jams. I think it was one of the books that she gave 5 stars in 2019. So that always intrigues me because she doesn't read a ton of thrillers. And when she likes one, I listen. So this takes place in Australia. Am I losing my mind? I think it's Australia. And we follow a man named Aaron Falk. He's a federal agent and he hasn't been back to his hometown in many years. He finds out that his childhood best friend Luke is dead and his entire family was murdered. And he goes back and he finds this note that says, "Luke lied, you lied, be at the funeral." And he gets like drawn up into that. This sounds a bit more like a summary read because it's meant to be very hot. That said, sometimes in the winter I want to read summary stuff. Does anyone else do that? I either want to read like wintry stuff or summary stuff. Maybe because I'm trying to escape the very coldness that is Ottawa in the winter. So The Dry is an option for this series prompt. Another book that I've been really wanting to read for a good long time now is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This has been a really loved YA. Again, I don't always do well with YA, but the idea of this is so neat. It's about a world in which people don't die. They continue to live. They've come so far in technology. Everyone lives. However, there are too many people, as you can imagine. And so there's this group of people called scythes that basically go around and kill people. They select them and then they have to kill them. And we follow someone being trained to be a scythe, and that sounds really great. So that's the first in a series. I think the last one just came out this year. Then, of course, we've got The Testaments. This has been on my TBRs for many, many months now, as you can tell. For some reason, I've just not always been in the mood for it. And so that's why for each of these prompts, I always have a few books because it just helps me have options. But yes, The Testaments is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. We have been, well, I never expected there to be a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. And then Margaret Atwood came out with this, and I really am wanting to read this. I think this follows 4 women a few years after we met Offred. We don't meet Offred in this, but we meet I think an aunt. I think we might meet Aunt Lydia in here, and one of the wives. So it should be interesting. So there's that. And then a book that I had also as an option for my last TBR is Blindsided by Karen Slaughter. I love Karen Slaughter. She's gritty, dark, very dark thriller writer. And this is a thriller series that follows a detective and also a pediatrician. She discovers that a woman was killed and she's found in a local diner. She has knife wounds in her stomach that look like a cross, and then the next victim comes out and they're crucified. So this is like a religious murder somehow going on, and you know, brutalizing the town, and there's a serial killer. Sounds great. So I will read one of those for the series prompt. Now, because we took series out, we need to put another prompt in to make it 12. So let me choose one from here. I'm going to shuffle these a little and choose from the middle, because that's what I always do. And we have new release. So new release will go into the cup. And now it's time to pick another prompt. Try a chapter thriller bonus video. So this means that I have to do a whole other video. It'll be a try a chapter tag video, and this will be definitely when I feel like reading a thriller. I'll just sit myself down and pick up a bunch of thrillers to choose from, and I'll do a whole other video. Now let me go to my shelves and pick maybe like preliminary 4 and then allow myself some wiggle room, and I'll show you those 4. I won't talk about them because you'll have to watch the try a chapter tag video for that. What should I choose? Okay, so I've got a few here that I could do. There's The Dry, which is a thriller, so there's that. There's also Miracle Creek. This is like a literary thriller, so that sounds super intriguing to me. Now this one I think is going to happen either way because I'm next in line for this on audio. It's My Sister the Serial Killer, again a literary thriller. Another thriller I've had on my shelves and TBR for a while now is The Chestnut Man. Barry's aunt is currently reading this, and she said that it had short chapters, which is always a good thing and makes me flip the pages. So there's that one. And then a book that you will be seeing in an upcoming haul is Darling Rose Gold. This is an ARC, and it's a book that's coming out in mid-March, and it sounds so good. Crazy mother, daughter trying to get revenge. Yeah. So maybe I'll do a try a chapter tag with those. We need to add another one of these to the cup. I'm going to shuffle, and I always seem to go in the middle. What is this one? Favorite author. So that is going into the cup. I'm going to shuffle these two because I feel like I haven't shuffled them for a little while. Okay, number 3. Gifted. Oh boy. So I have to go to my shelves and pick books that have been gifted, not by publishers, but by people in my real life. I have quite a few. I actually have a couple right here that I could choose. So, all right, I'll be right back. Okay, so for gifted, I have 4 books that I could read. Barry, these are all from Barry. At one point or another, they're all from Barry. So the first one is The Handmaid's Tale, a graphic novel. And he got me this when I was doing the reread for The Handmaid's Tale. And it is really beautiful. So this is definitely an option. I've been wanting to read that. There's also Case Histories by Kate Atkinson. This is the first in a detective series, and we follow Jackson Brody Jackson. What in the world is his name? Now, strangely enough, there's nothing here that says what this is about. It's a family saga, but also a whodunit. So that's an option. I'd have to look it up online to find out what it's about. There's also Kill Creek, which is a horror story about a bunch of, I think, horror authors who get together at this supposedly haunted house, and they're haunted, and it's about their experience while they're there. It sounds really great, and it's a lot of people have loved that one. Oh, I think it was nominated for a Bram Stoker Award as well, so that's always good. And then again, Blindsided by Karen Slaughter. So those are the 4 that I could read for Gifted. Now to add another one of these to the cup, let me just shuffle around a little bit, pick from the middle. We are throwing in Hype into the cup. So this is, if this comes up, it'll be a book that's had a lot of hype on BookTube or just in the book world generally. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle these around as well. We're already at the last, which is crazy. I was hoping to read more like heartfelt books. These are a lot of thrillers. So, yeah, I wanted to read a lot more like historical fiction or something. So we got new release. So for new release, I either want to pick books that are coming out in 2020 and it's a new release that's going to happen, or a new release that came out in 2019. Yes, we shall go to the shelves and look. Okay, so I was able to find a couple of more heartfelt books for new release. So these are other books that are published in 2019 or are going to be published in 2020. So this is If You Want to Make God Laugh by Bianca Merez. This came out in June or July of 2019. And I loved Hum If You Don't Know the Words by Bianca Merez. And this is her follow-up, and it follows, I think, 3 perspectives. One of a woman who is pregnant, she's quite young. Another of a socialite, and then also a former nun. And all of these stories kind of come together when a newborn baby is discovered, abandoned. And it sounds great. Again, Krista from Books and Gems gave this 5 stars in 2019. So yeah, that's definitely an option. A book that again you're going to be seeing in an upcoming haul video is The Confessions of Franny Langton, which sounds so fascinating. This is about a Black woman who's accused of murdering 2 people, both employers, a scientist and his eccentric French wife, Marguerite. And she goes to a courtroom and she tells the story of her life and what happened to her. And it sounds fascinating and really, really interesting. So this is definitely an option. Another book that came out in 2019 is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. This would be my first Colson Whitehead, and it sounds really brutal. It's about a kind of a reform school for boys, and we meet a young boy named Elwood, and he goes to this reform school. I think it's mostly Black boys who go to this school, and there is an obscene amount of abuse that goes on in every form. It is also a place that actually existed, and there is a patch of land where there are gravestones of boys that were, I don't know if they were killed or they died, and they're kind of, I don't know if they're unmarked graves, but they're forgotten children essentially, and it sounds really interesting and very important. So The Nickel Boys is definitely an option. I've got a couple more. Miracle Creek is definitely an option. This is a courtroom thriller about a woman who is accused of killing her autistic son. There's some sort of experimental medical treatment device that I think she tries to put her son under to help him, and it explodes and kills I think several people and injures people, and so it's a courtroom literary thriller, which sounds fantastic. And then another book that's coming out in 2020 is Darling Rose Gold, which sounds great. So those are all of my options for new release. So now we have to add another one of the prompts into the cup of TBR for next month, so we're all set. So let us choose try a chapter Gothic bonus video. So that goes in the cup. We're all set for next month. So yeah, the prompts for this month are new release, gifted, try a chapter, thriller bonus video, and series. So I have quite a selection here. Let me know in the comments below what you were planning on reading in January. I'd love to know, and I will chat with you soon. Bye guys!